Welcome to the webinar. We're going to take a couple minutes to let a few people join us still. I just wanted to let those folks who are on the webinar now know that we will be recording this. And so if you need to go back and reference it, it will be on the Utah Fresh website. And we will be starting in just a few minutes. The topic of this webinar is summer student opportunities. And so I'll introduce our guests in the webinar in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to make sure that you all knew where to ask your questions. If you submitted questions earlier, I do already have a copy of those, so you don't need to resubmit those questions. Although if you do, it's not a big deal. But feel free to just in the Q&A to type your questions. And if you have questions ahead of time, you can start typing them right now. And what I'll do is I'll ask the questions to the folks who are presenting in the section that's most relevant. And then at the end of each of the presentations, we'll have a broad Q&A session. So I think we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll do the introductions. I expect some people to be joining as we go, but since we are posting it recorded, if you miss something, we can go back and you can take a look at it. So my name is Andrea Thomas. I'm the Chief Experience Officer here at the University of Utah, and we do these webinars from time to time when we have topics that we think are important for parents to know information about. And there's lots of really exciting summer study opportunities that we wanted to make sure that we had a chance to talk about. So that's the theme of this webinar. So we have three guests. I want to welcome and thank Rick Batchelor from the Learning Abroad office for being here. Also Jean O, who's with the Hinckley Abroad office, and Sienna Ashdown and Buzz Welch, who are with the Eccles Global office. So each of them will take about 10-ish minutes to present their areas, and then we'll ask the according questions in those areas and then have the broader questions. So we're going to start with Rick. And so Rick, thank you so much for being here. Rick is in the Learning Abroad office, and he will also be talking about opportunities with Asia Campus. So Rick, I'll turn it over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andrea. I'd like to welcome everyone to our presentation today. As Andrea mentioned, my name is Rick Batchelor. I'm the director in Learning Abroad. I've been at the U for a little over 7 years and have had a few different international experiences in my life. I actually did a year-long study abroad program in Italy. I had the opportunity to work in Spain for a year, as well as in the Federated States of Micronesia for 3 years. I do believe that learning abroad or study abroad is a fundamental piece to students' education here at the University of Utah. And so I'm going to take some time to talk about the myriad opportunities that we do have at the University of Utah. So for today's agenda, I'll talk about the basics. What does learning abroad look like here at the U? Why participate in one of our programs? We'll go over our different program types. And so from faculty-led to the Utah Asia Campus to affiliate and exchange, it's a good way to kind of break down the number of programs that we have, because as a public institution, one of the things that I think is critical is that we make learning abroad accessible to all students. And so we have over 500 different programs offered through Learning Abroad. And so these broader categorizations of types will help you understand what we have to offer. I'll go over a little bit the timeline and funding, and then how to reach us and what sort of events that we have coming up. All right, so at the U, we use Learning Abroad. It is in many ways synonymous with study abroad, but one of the reasons for which we decided to use the term learning abroad is because we believe it encompasses more than just study. So at the university, you have the opportunity to certainly live abroad, study abroad, intern abroad, to enhance your academic and career goals while pursuing a degree at the University of Utah. So this is, I would say, multifaceted. And by that, I mean for For students, there can be a kind of traditional study abroad program at one of our exchange institutions, but at the same time, you could intern abroad, you could research abroad. We have service learning opportunities, and so it's more than that kind of traditional model because we recognize that it is important for a student to have access to a lot of different opportunities for their international experience here at the U. We go next. If my mic is scratchy, I apologize. I'll do my best to slow down a little bit. But, so the reasons for our students learning abroad. So if you click next, you'll see that the main reason. Oops, So it looks like that didn't come up, but there we go. So one of the main reasons for students participating in programs is to make progress towards graduation. So when students participate in a learning abroad program, they automatically fulfill the international requirement. But in addition to that, what we want to make sure that we communicate to students is that by participating in a program, it shouldn't delay your graduation. In fact, it should seamlessly fit into your graduation plans. And so you can fulfill general education requirements while participating in a program. You can focus on minor or major requirements. And so we want to make sure that learning abroad fits in well. And so by doing that, it's working closely with the staff in learning abroad, plus with an academic advisor. Gaining a new perspective in your field or major. And so one of the things that really is critical, I would say, to a learner program is that it kind of expands your perspectives. And so we oftentimes have students looking to pursue a program to see what does it look like to do research in Germany. So for example, we have a chemistry research program there in the summer. Other students, they're looking at our theater in London program. Like, what is it like to actually see Shakespeare plays while in London? And so with the 500 different programs we have, we really do focus on building new perspectives in one's education. Learning a language. And so that is a common reason for which our students participate in programs, but do know that you don't need to learn a language going on one of our programs. So we have programs where English is the language of instruction, even though the country's official language may be something different than English. And so by that, if you're looking at our exchange programs and say you wanted to go to Japan, we have programs at Doshisha, at Waseda, as well as a few other locations where you can take those courses in English. And so it could be computer science courses, it could be business courses, and it could be a wealth of other courses that we taught in English. And so know that learning a language is important, and we believe that is a fundamental aspect of our programs, but not the key thing necessarily for all students. And so we want to make sure that we have opportunities. And I would say, the last point on that is that the majority of programs that we offer, you're not learning a language. In fact, you're taking courses in English. Could be achieving your personal goals. So we oftentimes work with students who haven't been outside of the United States, and so they're interested in having that experience, and want to make sure that we support that. And then our last one is to enhance your resume. So this is a real critical piece of learning abroad. We want to make sure that the students that are pursuing programs are building transferable skills, and that those transferable skills do work towards what their career objectives are. Okay, and so we're going to talk a bit more about program types. If you go to the next slide, you're going to see that we have several different program types here at the University of Utah. And so we break it down into our exchange programs, our affiliate and global internships, the Utah Asia campus, and faculty-led. I'll start with faculty-led. That's the most group-oriented experience. And then we'll travel down and learn a little bit more about our exchange programs, which ended up being our more, I would say, individual experiences. So if you go to our next slide, we will talk about faculty-led programs. And so this is, I'm sorry. Yep, there we go. We'll start here. So yeah, with the faculty-led programs, this is where a University of Utah faculty member leads a program for our University of Utah students. So it's University of Utah credit. It oftentimes connects to a particular requirement within the curriculum. It's with oftentimes with other University of Utah students, but it can as well be offered to non-UV students. But the key thing I would say about this is that it is a way in which students can build in oftentimes a short experience abroad. And so a lot of our programs that are faculty-led run during the summer. So it could be anywhere from 1 week to 6 weeks long. But we do as well have some fall break and spring break programs. But at the same time, we have a couple that are semester long. So the great thing about it as well, it's really flexible for students. We recognize there's a lot of different things that they want to engage in. And so this is one of those ways to do that. With our faculty programs, the deadline that is coming up is on February 15th, 2024, and that is for our summer programs. That's one of our earliest deadlines for the summer. Now, if we go to the next slide, to the Utah Asia campus, the UAC is a fantastic opportunity for students. We do have a summer term at the UAC that is 6 weeks long. Students are interested in going there this upcoming summer. The deadline will be April 15th. And the key thing about the summer term at the UAC is that students will often take general education requirements. And so if you're not familiar with the UAsia campus, it has been around since about 2014. And students have been going there to take general education courses, or depending upon the major that's offered at the Asia campus, they can take major related courses. So for example, some of the majors that are included at the UAC include psychology, communication, film and media arts, electrical computer engineering. So we have several majors that are offered at the UAC. And one of the newest ones is EAE, so Entertainment Arts and Engineering. But the UAC campus is a full-blown University of Utah campus. There's about 500 students that are there. Students who study at the UAC pay equivalent resident tuition. And the other great thing I would say about the UAC is that it's a very kind of like tight-knit community. So students have all the sort of same benefits they would hear in Salt Lake City, just at the UAsia campus. Let's go to our affiliate programs at our next slide. And so with our affiliate programs, this is where we work with third-party providers that run programs on our behalf. So for example, some of these providers are called CIEE, ISA, CEA. These are some of the biggest providers across the country, and they really expand the number of opportunities that we have to offer. Oftentimes, these programs are kind of theme or topic based, and so it could be science, engineering and science in Madrid, or it could be international business in Barcelona. And so they are a fantastic opportunity for students who might be looking to take classes in their major that's not commonly offered in learning abroad. So for example, engineering, or it could be in a location where we don't have a faculty program or we don't have a campus. And so that's one of the great things about our affiliate partners. And so we work with students to support them, and then our in-country providers also support students. One of the additional aspects of an affiliate is they offer global internships as well. Jean will talk about the Hinckley Global Internships, but there's also additional ones through Learning Abroad and through our affiliate programs. The deadline for the summer is April 1st. And then last, we have our exchange programs. Yep, you can go to exchange. So with our exchange programs, these are kind of the traditional model of study abroad. This is where students spend a semester or a year abroad. And so that's where they would enroll at universities like the University of Sydney, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, University of Aberdeen in Scotland. So we have 35 different exchange partnerships around the world. So in the summer, we don't have an exchange program per se, but we do have these summer schools with about half of our exchange partners. That deadline would be April 1st, but it would be a short-term experience for about 2 to 6 weeks at one of these institutions. I wanted to reference the exchange because they're great semester or year-long experiences as well. Okay, let's go to our next slide for financing and scholarships. So one of the big questions is how to fund a learning abroad experience. I wanted to point out a few different things, is that we do offer scholarships through our office. And so about $250,000 each year we award to our students. And then there's also external scholarships that students would be able to apply for. In addition to that, we always recommend that students connect with the Office of Scholarship and Financial Aid to determine if they're receiving any aid or scholarships and how those can be applied to their learning abroad program. Go to our next slide. This is just a quick snapshot of our website. These are different ways in which you can find out programs. So for example, if you go to our search and apply, you'll check out all the different programs we have to offer. Right next to that, there is a scholarship search. You can look at our database, and there's also ways for students to get in contact with our staff to set up an advising appointment. One of the big things we have coming up soon, this week is actually International Education Week. And so the U is putting on several different events. One of the things that we are putting on this week is a learning abroad for STEM students. And STEM is historically underrepresented learning abroad. We want to make sure that we showcase those opportunities. In the beginning of the spring semester on the 24th of January, we'll have our Learning Abroad Spring Fair. This is an opportunity for students to get connected to our staff, to past students, to our affiliate providers, exchange providers, faculty who are leading our programs to learn about what they can, the different programs they can participate in this upcoming summer term. Then lastly, we have our contact information. And so we're in the Union in 159. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can always reach out to us via email or by phone or stop in if you want to learn a little bit more about what we have to offer. And then the big thing that I recommend to students is to take our Learning Abroad 101 course. This is a 45-minute workshop. And so you can register for it on our website. We have the QR code here, but this is a deeper dive into what does learning abroad look like here at the U. So make sure I pause. It's been a little over 10 minutes. I'm going to turn time over to Jean next, but I'll be here to answer some Q&A.
There's one question, Rick, that's come up. Is there a GPA requirement for participating in learning abroad?
Yes, so we do have eligibility requirements. At a minimum, all of our programs are at least a cumulative GPA of 2.0, but some do have higher requirements, as high as 3.0 and sometimes 3.5. I would say the majority of them are about a 2.5 cumulative GPA.
Great, thank you, Rick.
Absolutely.
All right, Jean, we'll turn it over to you to talk about Hinckley Abroad.
All right, thank you, Rick. Did the screen switch over?
Yes, it did. Yes.
Okay. All right, so hi everyone, my name is Jean O. I work at the Hinckley Institute here at the University of Utah, and I manage the Global Internship Program. It runs year-round, spring, summer, and fall. Summer being our most popular semester for obvious reasons. Students who have to be on campus for courses in person, spring and fall, opt to go in the summer, and students who are just more available in the summer semester choose to travel then as well. But we are available all year for students who might want to go in either of those semesters. So the Hinckley Institute offers a variety of programs, and there are local and DC and global internships available. But for this, for the purposes of this webinar, I'll just be focusing on the global internships. But if you do have a chance, do go on the Hinckley Institute website and check out all of our local and DC internships as well. Particularly our DC internship, we just purchased 2 brownstones in the Washington, DC DuPont Circle. It's amazing. It's a fabulous experience for students here at the university. But going on with global internships, and is my, am I coming through okay on sound and everything? Okay, great. So global internships, it's all over the world. You can go to any of the continents and any of the countries and have a global professional experience. Now, students sometimes get learning abroad and global internships confused with, thinking they're kind of the same thing. Learning abroad is a fantastic opportunity for students to go as a college student to another college campus in another country and continue the college student role, attending classes, making friends, taking exams and doing homework, and everything that you would do here on this campus, you might do on another campus in another country. Global internships gives you the practice of being a professional. So it's kind of like as if you had graduated and as if you had applied for a job, and now you're practicing that job as an intern for about 3 months, 2.5 to 3 months, except you're not getting paid. That is your course. So kind of like when I went for my teaching credential, I had to do a semester of student teaching. I was in a classroom, delivering lesson plans and teaching students and grading, but I didn't get paid. I wasn't a hired teacher. That was part of my education program in my university, for which I got credit, and I could utilize scholarships, and it propelled me forward into the career that I eventually ended up becoming a classroom teacher in. So global internships, it gives you practice into all the professions that you want to get practice in. So students who are pre-med can go to hospitals or clinics and get a little bit of an experience there, according to what coursework you've had and maybe some volunteer experience you've had. They'll utilize your skills and put you to work as much as they can legally and practically speaking. Business students can go on a business internship and go into spaces where you might be, in an investor, foreign direct investment office, or a startup office, or some, finance office, or you might be interested in politics and you might intern in a parliament or some other government or city or county office, or a think tank. So I work with students across the disciplines and place students in various host offices. And if you click here on our website, host offices, it'll bring up some of our host offices that we work with. It's impossible to list all the host offices because they're constantly changing, and we're always finding new host offices. And some of our old host offices sometimes take a break because they're moving or having staff changes. So just because it's not listed doesn't mean that it's not available. The important thing is to know that host offices exist, and if you connect with me, I will be able to tell you which host office is available for the semester that you are interested in. So they're listed by continent here, host offices in Africa and Asia, a bunch in Europe, Latin America, Middle East, and Australia. Even if host offices are active, sometimes it also depends on what's going on in the world. I had a student in the Ukraine when the war broke out, and he had to come home early. Our Middle East students had to come home early when the war broke out over there. So it just, go through this list as to give you an idea, but please don't be limited. Just because you don't see it here doesn't mean that it's not possible for you to go to a country or a host office that you might be interested in. Which then leads me to set up your own program. These are the host offices that the Hinckley has worked with semester after semester. But sometimes students come in and say, you know what, I was doing some digging around on Google and I found this internship program that I'm really interested in. Can I make that work? Absolutely. It's called Set Up Your Own, and you're able to secure your own internship by doing either your own research, or maybe a family friend has a company office in another country and you can get an internship through that connection. Any of that can be brought under the umbrella of the Hinckley Institute Global Internship Program, and you can still qualify for the university scholarships and credits. So whichever way you secure your internship, whether it's through us and through one of these host offices that the Hinckley Institute offers, or if you find it through your own means and connections, it can still be a Hinckley Institute Global Internship Program. That takes me to scholarships and credits. All the internships through the Hinckley Institute are credit bearing, between 3 to 12 credits, but how they're applied toward your graduation requirement is up to your academic department. So some departments will only take 3 credits and maybe apply it to the electives or general ed. And some departments, depending on the internship, if it's really aligning with your major, they will, accept the full 12 credits. The credits are highly reduced to $45 per credit for undergraduate students and $60 for graduate students. It's the one time in, and I'm going to stop sharing because you see where you can go. It's the one time where students get this kind of a tuition break at the university. And it's because we want students to have the rest of the money that they save on tuition and campus fees on flights and accommodations and all the costs that's related to doing the internship. So even at 12 maximum full credits for tuition, the student would pay undergraduate student would pay $540, especially for out-of-state students or international students. That's literally pennies to the regular tuition that a student would pay. And you still work toward residency because you're considered enrolled at the University of Utah, even though your body is physically in another country. So it's a huge savings and a huge benefit. And I always tell students, if you can afford a regular full semester here on campus, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford a global internship semester abroad, because it works out to be about the same. You can go to Melbourne or Sydney, Australia, some of the top expensive cities in the world, and you can do it for between $8,000 to $10,000. And I'm counting everything: tuition, program fee, flights, accommodation, meals, ground transportation. If it's an expense that's related to doing the internship, I've included it in that cost, and it's about $8,000 to $10,000. Some students have been able to do it for less, depending on their lifestyle choices. And of course, some students have done it for more, depending on their lifestyle choices. But on average, it's doable for about that much. Now, scholarships, thank you, Rick, for covering the scholarships. The Office for Global Engagement is amazing with their scholarship offerings, and many of our Hinckley students have been able to access those dollars and use it toward their internship semester. In addition to that, USHE, the Utah State Higher Ed System, is also beginning to offer generous scholarship up to $5,000 starting in the summer of 24. So this coming summer, students will be able to apply for a USHE scholarship that they can spend on a global internship abroad up to the tune of $5,000. That will pay at least 50%, if not more, depending on where they go. And in addition to that, students automatically get a Hinckley scholarship for doing a global internship. They don't have to apply. If you sign up for a global internship through the Hinckley, you automatically get something from the Hinckley Institute. All the amounts vary, so students will have to keep track of what they receive and all of that. And especially if they are receiving federal aid, then you want to really check in and make sure that you're not knocking your aid off. But yeah, just check with me and check with all the advisors, and we can definitely make this work. The thing that I want everyone to walk away from this is connect with the advisors, whether it's in the Learning Abroad program or with myself in the Hinckley Institute. If you connect with us, we will have the answers for you. So even if you don't, this could be a fire hydrant, right? Really a lot of information to take in, but simply reach out and we will walk you through it all.
And Jean, can I ask you the same question that I asked Rick about GPA? Is there a GPA requirement for students to participate in your program?
So it depends on the host office. So for the more academic internships, kind of like Parliament or the think tanks, they do want students with higher GPAs. But if you're applying for a nonprofit or where you're kind of rolling up your sleeves and joining a team that does work like in the community and more conversational and things like that, then it's not as much of a stickler. So again, reach out and I can work with you to determine what would be the best suitable internship for you.
Okay, and then Jean, you also talked about internships within the US. That is something that you do. It's on your website as well. And our Career Services Office also helps with internships. And so this isn't the only way students can get internships as well, correct?
That's right. That is correct. And so local, national, DC internships are all available all year round. Simply reach out and we can set you up with one that is the best fit for you. The last thing I want to cover before my time is up is deadlines are all different. So for global, there are different deadlines. Like the parliamentary internships, we have security clearance to go through, visa processing. And so students are encouraged to apply at least a year in advance, minimum 6 months in advance. But for some of the other internships, like in Australia, if you're going for a nonprofit, you can apply a week before the semester starts, and we can still place you. So we have a priority deadline, and then after that priority deadline passes, it becomes a rolling deadline. It just means that you won't have as many of the offerings available to you, but we'll have something available to you right up to the time of the day of the start of the semester. So if there's any interest in a global internship, again, don't cancel yourself out. Don't think to yourself, oh, I've missed this. I won't qualify for that. Reach out and connect with me and or one of the staff here at the Hinckley Institute, and we will work out something for you.
Great. And I want to reiterate something that Jean said, and this is also true, I think, for Rick's programs and Eccles Global as well. If you are getting residency and you're participating in a University of Utah program, it is like you're here on campus, even though you're participating in the Utah Asia campus or in one of the other host locations. That still counts towards your residency, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. That's
it's a really big deal.
Yeah.
And I'll just sign off with saying that so many of the global intern alumni who've gone through my program have come back to let me know, oh my gosh, I went on a job interview and my global internship was all we talked about. Because most entry level or graduating seniors, when they apply and are interviewed, the rest of their resume looks very similar, right? They have whatever major that they're studied in, and they have student involvement and experience, et cetera, et cetera. But research indicates there's maybe 1% of the college population that does a global program, which is mind-blowing to me, how those stats are still that low. I might be wrong, maybe I'm off by a few years. But every time that they've been interviewed, they've been asked about their global experience, whether it's a learning abroad or a global internship, that they hone in on that. So, and I tell students, don't pursue it, to build your resume, pursue the experience and your resume will build itself.
Yeah, great.
So yeah, especially for, this generation and the upcoming generations, how can you not have some sort of a global experience and be successful in a global economy, this world that's becoming more and more interconnected every day? We need to have global experiences built into our education before they enter into the marketplace. So yeah, please come see us, talk to us, and we will set you up.
Okay, thank you so much, Jean. And I also want to be clear on the residency. You have a week to get to your location to study and a week to get back. And so when you're counting that towards your residency, there's a certain number of days that you can be away and still get your residency. And so the travel time is also included in that. And so that makes it really nice for students. So thank you so much, Jean. We'd like now to turn over the time to Sienna Ashdown. She's going to talk about Eccles Global, and I'll turn it over to you, Sienna.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm so excited to talk a little bit about Eccles Global. Like Andrea said, my name is Sienna Ashdown. I'm currently in my junior year here at the U, and I'm studying accounting. And I'm an intern for Eccles Global for this current school year, 2023-2024. Eccles Global is a study abroad program specifically at the David Eccles School of Business. So the classes that we offer are specifically business programs. However, our programs are available to all students at the U. So if you're not a business student, don't let that deter you. We have programs available to everybody. So some of my personal experiences with Eccles Global have included, I think that I'm not controlling the slides, right? But is it? Some of my personal experiences have included a 1-week trip to Paris and Berlin, fall of 2021, which was my freshman year. And following my freshman year, I participated in the summer of 2022 entrepreneurship minor program in Nice, France. With this program, you earn your entire minor in 1 semester. And lastly, this past summer of 2023, I participated in a 1-month-long program with Eccles Global in Amsterdam, studying the history of global capitalism. And I earned 3 credits of Business 3900, which is a required business course. And all of these experiences were perfectly catered to our environment. So for example, in Nice, there is a huge incubator for entrepreneurship, and students are actually able to intern there while you're in Nice. Similarly, the Dutch played a major role in the development of capitalism, so being able to be in the Netherlands and witness Dutch culture firsthand was extremely beneficial and really added to the learning experience. Moving on to what I do personally at Eccles Global, I'm currently in charge of organizing and acting as a student leader for 1-week experiences. So Eccles Global provides 1-week experiences over fall and spring break. This past fall break, I had the opportunity to lead our experience in Spain and Morocco, which was super fun. And this upcoming spring break 2024, I'm leading the Australia and New Zealand experience, and applications are still open. So if you're interested, please go check that out. So some of my personal experience, like I said, I participated in the entrepreneurship minor in Nice over the summer of 2022. I was there for about 3 months. And like I mentioned before, you earn your entire entrepreneurship minor while you're abroad, which is pretty cool. And while you're abroad, you're taking 15 credits, as well as participating in a 3-credit-hour internship with IMRED. IMRED is the Institution of Innovation and Partnerships. They are a program created and sponsored by the University Côte d'Azur, which is the university in Nice. They're an incubator for entrepreneurs. So companies are able to develop their ideas while they're there, and students are actually working with these companies that are in the incubator. For example, some of the internships that were there while I was there, some of the companies that were in IMRED at the time were working on a smart home, a self-driving car, and sustainable transportation. So there was a lot of really cool opportunities. And lastly, the program in Nice is partnered with the University Côte d'Azur. So you're taking classes on their university grounds, you get to meet students there, as well as you have access to all their university resources. So some of the programs that we offer at Eccles Global, I kind of touched on these before a little bit, but just so you get a better understanding, we offer 1 week, 1 month, and full semester programs. And these full semester programs are minor specific. So for 1 week, we have fall break, spring break, and May break trips. These are really fun. You just get 1.5 credit hours while you're there. You get to travel with the group. It's an amazing opportunity if you want to just kind of test out or have a fun spring break, fall break type of experience. For the 1-month programs, we have summer sessions. These are over the summer. They're 1 month long each, like I said before, and we have 3 sessions over the course of the summer. So if you'd like, you can participate in 1 program, 2 programs, or 3 programs, depending on how long you'd like to be abroad for the summer. These are really popular among students because you get to kind of tailor your own experience. Since each of the different sessions offer different classes in different cities, you can decide if you'd like to be in 1 place for a month or if you'd like to be in 3 places over 3 months. So you really get to customize your learning abroad experience. And lastly, we have full semester minor programs. Like I mentioned, I did the entrepreneurship minor in Nice, which is a summer program. We also have the information systems minor, which is both in the spring semester and the summer semester. And in 2025, we are introducing the FinTech minor. So here's just some of the locations where we currently are offering
Hannah,
programs.
really quick, for those
Yeah.
people who don't know FinTech, it's financial technology. And so I think the rest was pretty self-explanatory, but that's a pretty new term.
New term.
And
Yeah.
actually a very popular growing area. So sorry to cut in.
No, thank you. Thank you. That's important. Yeah, FinTech, financial technology, super important and cool. And we are introducing that program in 2025. So yeah, some of the programs where we are located, we kind of switch up our locations all the time, but here are some just for fun so you know where we currently are. We're in England, Italy, France, Japan, Australia, the Netherlands, Spain, and South Korea. So lots of different opportunities. Like I mentioned before, the information systems minor is offered over 2 semesters. In the spring semester, you are in Europe, specifically Italy and Spain, while in the summer, students are in Asia, Japan, and South Korea. So you may be asking, what is included in these programs, or why should I study abroad with Eccles Global? Well, Eccles Global provides you with your housing, international insurance, and covers your tuition while you're abroad. Studying abroad also gives you the opportunity to not only witness, but like actually immerse yourself and experience a completely different culture. And lastly, every program has some included group experiences like an overnight group excursion or other fun activities with your classmates and professors. I can say from my personal experience, I have enjoyed all the study abroad programs I've participated on and would highly recommend them to any student at THEO. So thank you so much for your time. If you're interested, I put the Instagram handle here for Eccles Global. We are really active on Instagram, always posting about our updates and different programs and opportunities we have. I also included my email as well as our director, Buzz's email, and he's also on the Zoom to answer any questions, but feel free to reach out to either of us. We're more than happy to answer your questions. If you're ever in the Spencer Fox Eccles Business Building, we're located on the 3rd floor, and the office is there's usually someone in the office, and we're always willing to answer your questions. I didn't include this, but our website can be found via the David Eccles School Business website, or if you just look up Eccles Global. And on our website has all of our applications and more specific information about each of our programs, but feel free to ask me any questions. Thank you so much.
Great, thanks, Sienna. One question is if there is a GPA requirement. So,
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
and I think business school is a little bit different than main campus. So
yeah, so for the minor programs, it's 2.0, but other Eccles Global courses are 3.0. And then for the 1 week trips, you just have to be in good standing. But we always say, like, if your GPA is close or you're hesitant to apply because of your GPA, don't let that hold you back from applying, because we personally review the applications.
Okay, great. And Sienna, are there deadlines for these programs? You talked about several programs. So for the summer programs, what are your deadlines for this upcoming summer?
They're all different. Maybe this is a Buzz question, actually. I'm not sure about the specific deadlines.
I'd be happy to answer that. So February 1st is the deadline for our summer sessions and our minor programs. And so we've got a lot of time before that, but they fill up fast. So it's good to get applied and be accepted and get squared away on that well before that, but February 1. And then for our spring break experience, we basically will close that out around December 1st, because we need to be able to have time to put all the names and everybody into the flights, etc. So about a 90-day lead time on the 1 week trips, and February 1 for summer.
Okay, so there's still time on your spring break trip, but act soon, because it's open and they're filling up. The May trips, is that open as well? And so they're filling up.
Yeah, May we haven't opened yet the application. We're going to go to two places. We know for sure Iceland will be one, and that application should open up around the middle part of December, before the end of this term, hopefully. And that deadline will be sometime around actually March 1st. So we'll have 2 months for that to 2.5 months for people to apply.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And then there was a question about grades and being on academic probation and things like that. And I would just highly recommend reaching out to the program and kind of talking through the situation, because the timeline for all of those changes, and there might be some opportunities to figure some things out. So just any students who really want to do it and are concerned about that, just go ahead and reach out, and any of the programs would be happy to talk to them about the situation, what would work. Rick, I have a question for you. If somebody's interested in doing the Utah Asia campus, how far in advance, since they're already admitted to the University of Utah, and that is a campus that's part of the University of Utah, do they have to fill out a different application if they want to go for a semester? How far in advance do they need to fill that out?
Yes, so that process is facilitated currently by Learning Abroad, and so students just need to apply by our deadline. So we have 3 different deadlines throughout the year that we have listed on our website. We have a specific brochure for the Utah Asia campus, and so it is November 1st for a spring start, April 15th for a summer start, and May 1st for a fall start. So as long as students apply by that deadline, they will be good to go. And we can accept late applications as well. There's just, we have to go to a certain point because we need to help facilitate that visa process. But the reason why we do have an application process for that is to ensure that students are transitioned from Salt Lake City campus to the Utah Asia campus. We work with different offices here and make sure as well that the scholarships we have available through Learning Abroad are also that students can apply for those, and that there's different sort of like orientation processes and other kind of logistical steps. And so we help facilitate all of those processes.
Okay, great. And there was a question, what is the process if a student finds their own study abroad internships? What are the things they need to think about and plan for? I think you mentioned that they can also work through the Learning Abroad office for the details around that, but I just wanted to check in to see if there was other information that was relevant for that situation.
Yes. So we have a Learning Abroad handbook, and in that handbook, there is a section for what we'll classify as external programs. So there are some considerations if a student wants to participate in a program that is not sponsored by the Learning Abroad office. And so the biggest factors that students want to take into consideration is, one, that they would need to take a leave of absence. If you're receiving any University of Utah scholarships, eventually they would not actually apply to that program because it's outside of the University of Utah. Those are the 2 kind of like biggest considerations. And so, but in addition to that, one of the things that I also want to highlight through Learning Abroad is that we help facilitate credit transfer. So students are going on a program where they're earning transfer credit. It all goes through our office, and we have a system in place where we work with academic advisors to make sure those courses would be pre-approved, and kind of work on the back end to make sure that that gets applied correctly. There's also all of the services that the University of Utah provides directly through our office. So Jean touched upon some of these things. Instead of standing up, for example, making sure you're registered in health insurance, we have a robust health, safety, and risk mitigation system here at the U to make sure that, you know, students who are abroad, even though they're 1,000 miles away, that you're still considered, you know, part of the University of Utah. We want to make sure that you are supported fully if something were to arise, as well as a number of other services. And so we do strongly encourage that students participate through our programs. However, if they do wish to participate on an external program, it is certainly possible, and that they'd have to coordinate everything independently. And I'd reference students to our external programs page in our Learning Abroad handbook.
Thanks, Rick. And if there's a program that does not run through the University of Utah and you're trying to get residency, that the only way the residency works is if it's through the University of Utah. So that would be a problem. And so you would want to wait until you have your residency to go through a program like that that's not through the University of Utah. So excellent. So the FinTech the question is, where is the FinTech minor being offered? Do you know that yet? I believe you said it was fall 2025. So there's not a FinTech minor in the summer of 2024. But have you chosen a location on that yet?
So the finance department, who sponsors the financial technologies minor, has decided they'd like to offer it in the summer of 2025. And it will be most likely in Toulouse, France for the entire semester, working with the Toulouse School of Management and one of our professors, finance professors, who's on sabbatical there right now, Elena Asparova. So look for that. It's an amazing location. Toulouse is so undervalued in France. It's a beautiful city, and it's a really going to be an excellent program for a summer of 25.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Those are all the questions that we have, and I know that there's lots and lots of information on websites and by reaching out to each of these different departments. So just want to reiterate the Learning Abroad office of the University of Utah. It has a lot of information. The Hinckley Institute of Politics Abroad, and both of you are located, I believe, in the Gardner Commons, correct?
I'm in the Union. Yeah, Learning Abroad's
You're in
on
the
first
Union, you
floor.
said that.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, you said there is a Learning Abroad office there, but the one that people walk into is in the Union. So thanks for that, Rick. And so, and then we also mentioned that the David Eccles School of Business is in the Spencer Fox Eccles Business Building. So if any of your students want to just walk in and figure it out or reach out, there's lots and lots of great information there. I really want to thank everybody for spending the time. Now's the time to start thinking about and start getting pretty active and planning the summer. There's still openings and lots of different options, but things go quickly and it takes a minute to kind of figure out what you want to do. And so, so start thinking about it now. Thank you all, Rick, Jean, Sienna, and Buzz, and then Megan for her help on putting this webinar together. As I mentioned before, we did record it and it will be posted on utah.edu on the Utah Fresh site. So you can go back and look at it and get any of the web URLs or all those types of things on the slides that you need. So thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your Monday.